All right, Yawakanam, Banya Hawada, Banya Shala.
All right, Shalom. So the topic is World War III mentioned in the Bible? If so, can you prove it?
Yeah, hell of a question. So to start right off, because see, people supposed to identify this to us. This Zephaniah 3 and 4. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. And who is that? That's these so-called ministers, these Baptist preachers, and all of these false Israelite teachers out here that's been teaching the truth and continue to teach the truth, and will not show where that question is that you just asked. So what they have.
It's an all too familiar sight. A U.S. Navy ship launching missiles against targets in the Middle East. But this was different. This was the first time the U.S. has fired at one of the warring sides in Yemen's civil war.
It's the second time in just 4 days missiles have been fired at the American destroyer.
Russian-U.S. relations may be heading closer to a flashpoint for the first time in decades.
And News Channel 5's Rebecca Schleicher shows us why experts say the presidential election will play a key role in the recent resurgence of Cold War tensions.
As a 5-year civil war wages in Syria, old foes square off in a proxy war once again.
So Russia and Iran have thrown their weight in to support Assad against most of his people.
The U.S. is backing the rebels rising up against Bashar al-Assad's oppressive regime.
A professor says Russia has taken advantage of what Putin believed was a weakening America to push its influence around the world.
Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. Because what is the law of you being a Leviticus priest or in that realm? You're supposed to show the people prophecy, seeing that we in a time of prophesying, which is actually what? World War III. Let me jump real quick, show you why. Because you know, they under the guise of this prosperity, love everybody doctrine. But that's part of it, but it's another side to that. This is Ezekiel 13 and 3. Ezekiel 13 and 3. Thus said the Lord God, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, the prophets are like the foxes in the deserts. Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord. And what is the battle of the day of Yahushua? Is his returning, which is actually World War III, which our people don't have a clue that this is coming. And that's why in church you learn scriptures about he come as a thief in the night. It's Matthew's 24, 23 and 14. So using my phone, I gotta break up out of that. This Ezekiel 23 and 14. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses. See that? Because who make up majority of the churches? The women. And for woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widow houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. Therefore you shall receive the great damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compare sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, he make him twofold more the child of hell than yourself. And who is that going into? That's going into Nate, because Israel is becoming the biggest thing out here in the world right now. So what's happening? They pulling away from the prophecy and the teaching of GMS and the followers of GMS, which is actually going into World War III and getting us ready to stand in the battle of the day of the Lord, which that was the Ezekiel 13, 3 and 5 talking about. So now let's start getting into showing the battle. It's yeah, keep going. This and this paper ain't getting along. The Zephaniah 3 and 5. Zephaniah 3 and 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning does he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So what is that talking about? Every day he bring his judgment to light. Every day somebody then got killed, another war that started, the brew, which is in Luke and Matthew's of the apostles asking Yahushua, what would be the signs of the returning of you coming? He said it should be wars and rumors of wars and signs and so forth. Now I'm gonna jump a little bit. Let me keep my hand on that so I don't have to keep looking from the page. I ain't just gonna go right to the question. I'm gonna build up to it and camp it and then bring it on in. This second Exodus 9:1. Come on. This second Exodus 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. See, and I use that as a precept because every day he brings his judgment to light. Yahushua got the angels and his judgment around here, which is, a lot of people sitting here waiting on World War III to happen and saying the end of the world, we know we're living in the end times. But a lot of y'all don't understand that y'all tickets is coming up a lot sooner than the Battle of Armageddon, which is World War III, which is going to be the war of all wars. See, so a lot of y'all getting visited by Yahushua because his spirit is here now, purging his floor. And us occupants that's out here that's pushing the truth and sincerely all over the United States, which is the GMS members majority, because that's the head of Israel. We actually pushing out for you to get right because your ticket is coming up. And the war is brewing and getting closer and closer. Okay, I ain't taking no. I'll take it to 5. Then shalt thou understand that is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when thou shalt be seeing earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and that's where your geopolitics come in at, of you being a watchman, then shalt thou well understand that is the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world has a beginning and the end, and the end is manifest. And the end is manifest itself according to Habakkuk 2:1, and that it's not going to tarry. Let me go back. Zephaniah 3:6. I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passes by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant. How far I take it? Yeah, to 8. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instructions. Because right now it's many gods. And see, you can be into Buddhist, you can be into Black Panther, Black Power, you can be a Nubian, you can be all those things right now. You can be a Christian under Caesar Borgia, which they call him Jesus Christ. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instructions. And the instructions is going out through the prophets. So their dwellings should not be cut off. Howsoever I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the war has already started. He said that I shall begin the house of my sanctuary, which is his people. So when we pushing this word out, it's going to our people first, and then to the other nations, which they don't even stand a chance. So they gonna be desolate. They cities gonna be desolate. That's what he was talking about at the beginning when it was going into they gonna be desolate. But see, our people getting a chance to not be a part of that being desolate. Which, damn, this goddamn wind, boy, Satan. He's getting mad. I'm going too far. Look, Satan took my goddamn spot. Zephaniah 3, because I got to put emphasis on this. Zephaniah 3:6. I have cut off the nations. See that? So if you ain't of the 12 tribes of Israel, you done anyways. You going into the war. Israel, the elect, the raiment that's going to come back, they getting a chance. Their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste. And this is why we prophesy, because this is what's going to happen. That none passes by. Their cities are destroyed. America finna be destroyed, and other parts of the world like Israel will be destroyed, so that there is no man. And why they gonna be no man? Because a lot of them gonna go off into the war, and those who don't go off into the third world war, they gonna die right here in these cities. And that's according to Second Ezra. That there is none inhabited. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instruction. See that? And that's for our people, the elect of our people. And those who ain't the elect, they gonna fear Yahweh Shah, because he's gonna make himself known, and his presence and his power gonna intensify upon this earth. And Esau ain't gonna be able to come up with no damn tricks of talking about the fires they have in California. Those are dust devils. See that? All that's gonna come to the end, because he's gonna show more and more his power. Cities are desolate, so that no man, that there is none inhabited. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instruction, so that northern shall not be cut off. Howsoever I punish them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doing. And who doing that? That's the 12 tribes of Israel doing it. We being punished, but we still waking up around here like bias, like everything's okay. That's why Esau got something called bread and circuses. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord. See that? And this is the elect man that knows the judgment of Yahweh Shah. So we being told, because we got to live among y'all sinners every day and hear the reproach that y'all got to say out y'all damn mouth. Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. And what's the day he rise up to the prey? That's when he come in with that chariot, which y'all know as a UFO, which we know as the chariots of Israel, and come into Babylon the Great. Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord, until the day I rise up to the prey, and Esau would be that prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. See that? So here come that third world war that he's brewing up in the Middle East, to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, his righteous anger, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And what's that? The ICBM missiles. That's the fire of his jealousy. All right, let me jump real quick. Zechariah 14 and 1. Yeah, Isaiah 14 and 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thou spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. See that? So that's why they have right now. See, the Third World War has already begun on our people. From the time we got here to the shores of America, they always knew we was Israelites. So what did they do? They went on a smear campaign, not only through their propaganda, but also through their germ warfare, through their psychic warfare, which having our people believe that they these different people as African Americans, blacks, you know what I'm saying, thug niggas and shit like that. So our people been being attacked for a very long time. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled. Why? Because you got something called the King Alpha Plan, the NDAA Act, that declare all Americans as terrorists. But see, the King Alpha Plan is Esau top elite, the shadow government, knowing that you are the children of Israel, you blacks, Latins, Native Americans. And see, they plan on exterminating you because, like the Akim said yesterday outside, you is not a part of the New World Order. They have no more use for you. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled. And that's them bringing them all them troops, all them foreign troops, and this military complex industry that we see being built up here in America and around the world. And the women ravished. See that? So being a family guy, father guy, and man, I can't do that truth because it either look bad or people ain't gonna accept it, or I care about how people look. Well, you're gonna have to deal with these situations happening. Because see, the battle is coming in the theater near you. See, this ain't no I gotta go across seas to engage in battle. No, battle gonna be here in America. America was declared a battlefield under the NDAA Act, and everybody terrorists. And half of the city shall go into captivity. See that? So half of these people around here, the Israelites and all other nations, is going into captivity. And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Now who the fuck is the residue? The elect, the 1/3. The the ones that stood up stiffly for the name of Yahweh. See, that's when that protection and all is going to be to help us. Right now, it look, oh man, they speaking about these wars, ain't nothing gonna happen. Yeah, okay. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, and when he fought in the day of battle. See that? So the Third World War is gonna happen with you, everybody you know, and all the other nations, and all your friends and everybody. See, everybody finna be a part of this war. The Third World War gonna be a motherfucker. Let me go in this Daniel real quick and show you what's gonna be the outcome though. Because they like, okay, man, damn, there's war going on. What's the outcome? Let's show you the outcome. This is the outcome right here, real quick. And this is called secular history. On top of it, see, that's why you can't go around these scriptures. Come on, where Daniel at? Gotta get Daniel real quick. This is my last one too. I know I'm taking all day. Get that Daniel for you. See that? Because everybody know, well, the elect know, and the elites know that Daniel got the visions of all the nations and the end of the world. That's in the historical history books and in the museums. See that? They don't teach you this in regular college. This Daniel 7:21. This Daniel 7:21. It said, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And who was that horn? America. And that's why today our people is bugged out they goddamn mind. Until the Ancient of Days came, the judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. And what's that? That's the end of World War III. We will, the children of Israel, the elect, will prevail under Yahweh Shah.
Shalom, Shalom, Call hello Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Demonstrate the Apostle, Elder Great Millstone, and we're well. In citation to the brothers on the four corners of the earth, pushing his word, truth, and sincerity. This is Robin, Gab, and Yasha Allah.
Today's motivation is World War III. What is World War III, and can you prove it out the scriptures?
World War III is the war to end all worlds. The reason why I say that is because that's going to be the war that's going to usher in our salvation, and end all the current worlds and the current ecosystems that humans inhabit on the planet Earth, and bring about the Lord's ecosystem, which is the kingdom of heaven. And and World War III is very well in the scriptures, and it's all over the book. Starting with I like to bring out Ezekiel chapter 38 about Russia, being a guard to the nations, because Russia is basically taking up the mantle of being the next protector, so to speak, with America in its sights. It's like your brother, can you give me a fingerprint? So Russia has America's in its sights, man, because Russia is hip to all the hypocrisy, all the double standards, the unfairness that this country represents, and the rest of the nations are starting to wake up too, and America is trying to go around and have its last ditch effort to take over the known world, and Russia, along with other superpowers, are forming other groups to stop that, And sooner or later, it's all going to come to a head, man, because they're in this second Cold War, and they're playing semantics with each other, And I'm just going to jump right to this article. This is from morningnewsusa.com. It says World War III alert. Russia and China take America as a real threat. U.S. launches missiles against enemies. Now this happened a week ago when America, they launched missiles on Yemen after a military exercise that Yemen was having. They took it for a threat, and they actually shot missiles at a Yemen military base. It says Russia and China are teaming up against the United States in an effort to stop its military expansion. The two countries now consider the United States as a real threat, which many also interpret as a declaration of alliance and possible war against the West. Well, World War III ensues soon. And the reason why that is because America, America thinks basically, America is Rome reincarnated, man. America thinks it can go around the country, go around the world and impose itself on other countries, man, and occupy other countries. And a lot of these other countries are starting to run to other superpowers like Russia, China, Germany, to have protection from America. You know, and soon, you know, that protection from America is going to turn into a full-scale war, man. You know, it says the U.S. missile deployment in Europe has triggered Russia and China to brand the country as a real and direct threat. According to according to reports, Moscow and Beijing are now squaring up to the United States with World War III possibly looming in the air. Russia and China take America as a real threat, according to the Daily Star. Vladimir Putin seems to be in a collision course with the White House as he is under suspicion of war crimes in Syria. They just came out with, America just unleashed an article, you know, blaming Russia for the deaths of civilians in Syria. You know, but Russia in turn responded back and said, hey, well, what about what you guys did in Iraq? You know, you guys blew up a whole hospital with civilians in on purpose, man. And if, you know what America said? They said, oh, that was collateral damage. What we're doing is just and right, but you have to answer for what you're doing. You know, and the other nations don't like that, man, because now they're starting to see the hypocrisy. It says, now an official from China, a general, has called out the United States for its action with a matching promise that Beijing and Moscow will respond accordingly. The U.S. did not provide legal binding guarantees that the missile defense system they are deploying in Europe will not be aimed against Russia, the Major General Vice Head of Warfare Bureau. But at the same time, it poses a real and direct threat to Russian security. China and Russia have similar positions about strategic anti-ballistic missile systems and oppose attempts by any nation or group of nations to create such systems unilaterally at any expense of strategic international security. You know, that's all I wanted to read on this article. But now the nations are saying to America, you know, zooming to Isaiah chapter 14, where it says, have you not become as weak as we? Because now they have the same military might, you know. So America can't push other nations around anymore. You know, and sooner or later, like I said, man, it's going to come to a head that the Most High is going to bring Russia full circle, you know, to start a war with America. And that's in Ezekiel chapter 39. Ezekiel chapter 38. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Now that Magog in this verse is talking about Russia. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord, power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And that's exactly what's happening, man. The Lord is putting that war spirit on Russia, man. You know, He's putting that spirit on them to where they're open and they're privy to the bullshit that America's been doing all over the world. You know, and they feel that they're going to step up and do something about it. You know, and America doesn't like that somebody's opposing it. You know, it says, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And Russia is beefing up its military power as we speak, you know, starting with the nuclear missiles on down. They got a nuclear missile called the Satan and Satan II. Now, you know, people always say bullets don't have names on them, but bullets do have names on them, you know. And that missile has a name on it, which is Satan. The whole world knows that America is Satan, man. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with them. You know, so the other nations are going to join in this as well, man. That's why you have Russia forming alliances like BRICS, Britain, it's like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You have the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO, which is joined by Russia. You have Iran now. You got China. And I think the Philippines are trying to join the league with China as well against America. You know, it says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." You know, and that's exactly what Russia is doing at this moment. It's being a guard to all the countries that America is trying to exploit. You know, i.e., Syria. You know, that's why Putin and Russia are down in Syria right now to protect Assad, which America wants to oust and put in their own public leaders so they can infiltrate Syria, so they can go in there, you know, and take the resources, you know, and exploit Syria. just like they did Iraq, man. You know, just like they did Libya. You know, but Russia isn't gonna let that happen. You know, and that's why there's a war brewing. There's political tensions among America and Russia as we speak. And I have one more scripture because, you know, I don't mean to, you know, jump fast forward the whole war, but like I said earlier, man, this World War III is the war to end all worlds and to usher in our salvation, you know. And it's going to end, you know, America and Russia, they're just going to start the war. It's going to end with Yahweh Shai and the angels, you know. And when they get here, it's going to be an all-out massacre. You know? This is Ezra chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that had moved all the waves thereof. And behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Now that man is obviously talking about, you know, the ones that you call Jesus Christ, but his name is Yahweh Shai. It says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they heard that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feels the fire. You know? So the Lord spoke and laser beams came on, and then there was fire everywhere. You know, that concentrated heat. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now that's the thing. You have World War III. You have all these countries and all these militaries that are fighting against each other. But the scripture just told you that they'll turn to subdue the man. So now they're going to fight against the Most High, because now they're going to realize that they have one common enemy. Just like Ronald Reagan, spoke about in 1989, man.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. Yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
You know, what if we had one common enemy and we would all turn and fight? You know, and that's exactly what's going to happen. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and full upon it. Now that mountain is the chariot of the Most High. It says, but I would have seen the regional place whereof the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. You know, they were afraid because they've never seen anything like what's about to go down. You know, they've never seen, you know, the Lord. Never mind, you know, UFOs, a fleet of UFOs with angels with swords in their hand. You know, so it's gonna be something that's gonna have undeniable power, man. And they're going to know that they can't fight this. It says, yet durst fight. So the Lord's going to put the spirit on them to fight anyway, just to show their power, just to show his power, you know, to let them know, like, no, I am the supreme being. You know, these are my people, and we are going to take you into slavery, man. You know, this is what has to happen. You made your bed, now, the world laid its bed, now they have to lie in it, you know? So World War III is a culmination of something bigger. World War III is just to get all the nations together, so to that valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh Shabbat, Yahweh's judgment, in order to judge them, man. You know, and then after that, you know, we're gonna go around, round up the rest of the elites of the nations, you know, and bind them with chains, man. And the kingdom is gonna be ushered in. You know, the light. We got the light. But with that, you know, that was my great millstone motivation for the week. Robin Gabby Allah signing off. All praise to Yahweh Shabbat, the honors to the elders, the apostle, great millstone. Shalom.